If your favorite animal is a wild one, I really hope you haven't gotten yourself in danger while trying to get close to it. But if that animal is the lion, then you know it doesn't matter how much you love it. It's better to stay away from that big, ferocious cat. And you might think some safaris are great places to connect with them, but I actually disagree. That's mainly show it to you today as well. In today's video, we're going to be looking at 10 times lions show tourists why you must stay inside your car. You'll be surprised to see some people who actually dare to get out of their car and try to get a close experience. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. The Lion on the Road. This video starts with a group of tourists following a lion. It happened in South Africa. They're also the kings of the road. When they walk down a main road, all cars need to stop, regardless of any urgent matter that they need to attend. But the most shocking thing about this video is the way the lion approaches one of the cars and starts patting the window. It's obvious that the lion wanted to get closer to the passengers inside the car, but luckily they had their windows up. Otherwise, I'm sure this would have been a very chaotic moment, because I'm sure the lion didn't just want to play. He actually looked pretty upset when he couldn't get closer to the people, and we can see the lion wasn't alone. There was actually a lioness by him just laying on the road, as if they both owned the entire place. The cars tried to go past them, but they moved very cautiously. They didn't want to bother the already interested lions. Number 8. The Curious Lion. I wonder just what goes inside a lion's mind when they get close to the cars. Some of them seem very threatening, but others just look genuinely curious, like the lion in the video I'm showing you right now. This one made the car stop and then climbed on the car's window. The lion started to lick the side mirrors and even chewed on it a bit, as if trying to figure out if the thing was edible. The guy inside the car had no choice but to stop the car and wait until the lion was finished exploring that side mirror. At some point, the lion acknowledged the person inside the car and began to tap the window, trying to see if the guy inside wanted to be friends, but he knew it was better to keep the windows up. After seeing what the lion did to the mirror, the man knew it was better to stay away. I'm sure a ton of people actually do dream of getting this close to a lion, but only if they have a window to protect them. Number 7. The one that kept following them. Some lions are obsessed with side mirrors and others are obsessed with black tires, like the lion in this video. It happened in a safari in Guatemala when a lion didn't want to say goodbye to its visitors. The lion attached himself to a spare tire on the back of the car, and even though the car kept moving, the lion didn't let go of that tire. The people inside the car were of course concerned and perhaps a bit upset due to the fact that they did not have a spare tire anymore because, well, the lion kinda destroyed it. However, I bet you anything they're happy that it was just a tire and not one of them being devoured and chewed on. Visiting lions can be pretty exciting, but at the same time you can't predict the outcome of the experience. Some lions are just ready to interact with their guests, and they surely know no boundaries. Kinda like a regular cat. Number 6. A lion that tried to open a car door. This video starts as an ideal day out, with people watching a lion from their car. It all seems peaceful. The lion is drinking water from a puddle and the people inside the car don't seem to be in danger. However, that all changes when more lions start showing up. Suddenly, there are 3 lions around the car, and it looks as if they're starting to conspire against the people in said car. But the most impressive thing happens when one of these lions tries to open the car door. The animal puts its teeth around the handle and tries to pull it, hoping the door will open. The lions didn't manage to accomplish what they wanted and the car slowly began to drive away. But the lions were not satisfied. They kept chasing the car until it was finally out of their reach. At the end, you can see that there were actually a ton of lions in that place, and this incident was more than enough to make the people get away from there. Number 5. A lion that actually opened the car door. Did you question the lion's intelligence when I said that they're able to open a car door? So far, you've only seen them try, but here's a video that shows you a lion actually opening a car door and giving visitors the scariest experience of their lives. It all started. Number 4. The lions that wouldn't give up. The next video starts with someone who's actually out of his car, but he probably had a lot of experience with lions. It looks like he knew how to tame them. In the first few seconds, we can see a lion hanging out next to a car while someone's inside. Like many lions on this video, the one here began to explore the car with curiosity. Just like many others, this one started to chew on the side mirror and even managed to break it. As the lion begins to get more curious and active, the man behind the camera suggests that the car should go to a safe space. The people inside the car followed the advice and began to drive away from the lion, but that only made more lions show up. For the next few minutes, you can see the lions chasing after the car untiringly. At the end, the car managed to escape, but the man with the camera stayed there, surrounded by lions. We can actually see how one of the animals jumps at him, but he quickly calms it down with his hands. I guess this guy knew what he was doing, but I doubt any of us would have been that lucky if we had been in that position. Number 3. Lion vs. Lion. Lions are ferocious and wild, but that doesn't mean they're always roaring aggressively. In this video, you can see different lions along the path during a peaceful afternoon at the Kruger National Park. The people inside the car are pretty excited, and that's because they can get this close to the lions. But it all changed after a few seconds, when one of the lions started to speed up and charged against the other lion. You can hear all sorts of roaring noises as the lions fight against one another. I'm not sure whether they were just playing or if they were actually mad at each other, but I do know for sure that the people inside the car were shocked to see this, and perhaps a bit disappointed to see these beautiful animals fight. Now it's time for the day's best pick. We've seen different kinds of visitors come closer to these animals, but the one thing they all have in common is that they stayed inside their cars. Except for that one guy, but he kind of worked there, I believe. Now, the picture I have for you today shows a group of tourists with their windows down. On top of that, the lion in that photo looks like he's ready to attack. Let's see what happens when people keep their windows down with number 2. Tourists and their photos. Just like most videos on this list, this one starts with 2 lions laying on the road. They look lazy, maybe even tired, and totally harmless. But if you know something about lions, is that their behavior can be unpredictable. Just because the lions look quiet, it doesn't mean the beast can't attack you. However, the people in the cars seem like they don't mind taking the risk. Heck, we can even see some kids rolling down their windows and pop their heads out just to take pictures and videos of the lions. Oh, what could ever go wrong? Here's where it goes wrong. In a matter of seconds, one of the lions started to wag its tail and stood up to release a loud and powerful roar. Or a growl. The people were immediately shocked and got their heads back in the car. According to some experts, some lions wag their tails to indicate that they are in a bad mood. And I guess it applies here. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. Lions in action. If seeing 2 lions fighting each other is frightening, imagine when you see them chasing after a herd of buffaloes. At the top of this list, I have a video that shows you why it's so important to stay inside your car with windows up and car doors locked. Even though this experience brought its viewers very close to the action, it truly gave them the scare of a lifetime. You can see how the buffaloes bumped into a tourist's car while running away from the lions. It all happened so quickly, yet I'm sure the moment felt like it would last very long for the people stuck in the car. So, if you're ever driving through a safari, please stay in your car, keep your windows up, your car locked, and be ready for unexpected encounters. Wild animals have no boundaries, and obviously, they're smart enough to get to us if they really wanted to.
Why don't lions attack when you are in a safari vehicle? If you often watch animal videos on YouTube, you will not be unfamiliar with the scenes of tourists visiting wildlife sanctuaries in open-top jeeps and without even protective glass doors. This is obviously more convenient for sightseeing. But what about safety? Have you ever wondered about this? Will dangerous predators like lions and leopards attack you? Actually, this is safer than you think if you understand the behavior of wild animals. Wild animals only attack you in 2 cases. One is if they think you're prey, and second, when they feel threatened. And neither of these 2 cases happen when you are in a jeep. When they see an open safari vehicle full of people, all they see is one single thing: a large beast with some abundances on top. As a large and potentially powerful beast doesn't interest them, as well as other large animals such as adult rhinos and elephants. They know the hunting effort is not worthy, not because they fear humans. However, all attention is necessary, as apex predators such as lions or even leopards are relatively intelligent and curious animals. If somebody stands up and detaches himself from the rest of the beast's mass, the predator may be curious and in doubt if that is a part of a large beast or is something else separate. It may then investigate or attack. In case of an attack, we all can imagine what happens.
Of a lifetime after a horrifying leopard attack. The clip begins with Richard Jones, a cameraman for BBC's Spy in the Wild series, attempting to track a pack of wild dogs. After a long time of scouting, the camera crew eventually spots a pack of dogs antagonizing an enormous and angry male leopard.
A male leopard. This way. Richard senses trouble.
The large animal proceeds to climb the trees to avoid the wild dogs, but just as they thought it was over, the leopard looks at the crew and does this.
Then it happens.
Hey, go away! Why? The cameraman drops the camera out of fear, but due to Richard's experience and quick thinking, the crew managed to get out of this encounter alive. On a nice evening in Zimbabwe, a group of tourists on a carriage had an encounter with a young male lion that didn't quite go as planned. While peacefully riding through the safari, one of the men spots a lion in the distance that unfortunately appears to be heading towards them.
Oh my gosh. Yep, coming faster. Oh my gosh, there's a lion chasing us!
With the lion refusing to give up, the terrified tourists decide to pick up the speed in hopes to lose the animal.
Yes, go, he's slowing down. Oh, I'm so scared.
Eventually, they pick up enough speed where they manage to lose sight of the animal and are able to safely go on with their ride. What was supposed to be a normal encounter with an elephant quickly turned horrifying after it decided to ruin these tourists' trip to Kruger National Park. At the beginning of the video, a convoy can be seen trying to get past a giant elephant blocking the road. Moments later, the elephant proceeds to go off the road and into the grass, giving space for the first car to drive off while the others decide to stay. As the animal walks further from the road, the second and third vehicles decide to drive off, thinking that it is already safe to move forward. While driving past the elephant, the unexpected happens after the giant and unpredictable animal decides to do this horrifying thing. Unfortunately, the clip ends prematurely, leaving the status of both the human and elephant unknown. right off the bat. An enormous hippo can already be seen charging towards the tourists at the beginning of this shocking encounter. Naturally, the driver starts to speed away, hoping to escape the animal in time and ensure the safety of his passengers. Too bad for them, hippos can reach speeds of up to 30 miles per hour in a snap, which leads to this happening. After the charge, the animal quickly flees in the opposite direction as the tourists process what just happened.
Wow. Alex, all right?
It's probably safe to say that the tourists learned a very valuable lesson that day. Tourists in Madikwe Private Game Lodge came across a terrifying sight after they caught an extremely protective mother leopard off guard. The heart-racing video picks up with the leopard bluff charging and threatening the tourists, recording it from afar. As they record the animal, despite it being aggressive, they eventually get the scare of a lifetime after it does this. Luckily, after a minute-and-a-half encounter, the predator eventually loses interest in the tourists and proceeds to back off into the bushes. The idyllic river safari of Chobe suddenly became hostile after a group of tourists got too close to an elephant, agitating it and triggering an unfortunate turn of events. The video opens with a boat filled with tourists approaching an elephant half submerged in the river as the tourists take pictures and videos of the animal. The boat does not stop drifting towards the animal, eventually getting close enough to the elephant, unsettling and upsetting it, making it do something extremely terrifying.
Hello, Lucy.
Look at this.
After the large animals charge, the group stands their ground, which adds fuel to the fire, angering the elephant more, leaving it with no choice but to do this.
It's okay.
Bashing the boat several times, the tourists become terrified, which eventually makes the tour guides steer the boat in another direction, away from the aggressive tusker.
Please, if something happens, just stay on the boat. Don't stand up.
Obviously, I'm staying on the boat.
Yeah,
I'm
you-
jumping.
Fortunately for them, the animal does not pursue the tourists, ending the encounter. A South African safari, a group of tourists thought it'd be a good idea to park their car right next to a group of lions trying to relax. Unfortunately, they quickly regret their decision after getting the attention of one of the more curious lions.
Just lock the door. Oh my gosh, I didn't know they could do that.
Still in utter shock, they now thankfully decide to lock their doors and proceed to drive away before anything else occurs. A sunny day in Valewater, South Africa, these men had their enjoyable safari ride take a truly unpredictable turn when they got charged by a furious hippo. Before anything, they begin recording when they notice the curious animal slowly approaching their car from the road behind them.
Ek dink daai
Vlak bietjie, Isak.
kyk of ons hom hier kan in. Hou maar net in eerste hoor.
Kan jy sê as jy kan ry?
Not expecting much to go wrong, they attempt to continue their unusual observation while they have the chance, when things very suddenly go south.
Kom 'n bietjie.
Luckily for them, they gain sufficient speed where the animal gives up on the chase and they continue driving away altogether. Johannesburg National Park. A group of tourists and their safari guide had a dangerously close call with a dangerous elephant, and the outcome is terrifying. The clip starts out with the explorers and their tour guides calmly observing a giraffe in the distance from the safety of their bus. Out of nowhere, though, an elephant emerges from the bushes, and after taking an interest in the tour bus, the animal makes a beeline for it.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Please, remain seated, remain seated.
On reaching the vehicle, the humongous mammal starts circling it, walking from one end to the other and sizing up the tourists. Moments later, the elephant decides that it has had enough and starts to walk away. However, in a surprising turn of events, the beast returns and does this. Noticing that things are getting out of hand, the bus driver immediately moves the vehicle, abruptly ending the encounter. In Kruger National Park, a few tourists in a car felt comfortable enough to drive right next to a huge male lion trying to mind its own business. Eventually, though, the lion gets fed up and decides to let them know. Out of shock, they unfortunately stopped recording and most likely just drove away. On a sunny day in South Africa, a group of men's average safari expedition quickly turned for the worse after being chased down by a territorial male lion. At first, things seemed to be going according to plan as they simply observed the predators roaming around the plains up ahead. Out of nowhere, though, they notice one of the lions beginning to walk in their direction.
Quickly, let's go back. Quickly. Go. Go.
Even after backing away quite a bit, the hungry predator sadly decides that he won't let them go so easily. Now, fighting for their lives, the men continue to fire warning shots towards the animal, all while running as fast as they can. Eventually, the lion thankfully decides to spare the men, and they simply proceed to record it from a safer distance. A fun trip on a safari became extremely terrifying after a safari vehicle filled with tourists came face to face with a herd of elephants. This encounter starts off intensely as the video shows a large herd of elephants running towards a jeep, leaving the passengers terrified and concerned. The driver surprisingly remains calm and maneuvers through the dirt road carefully despite the herd of towering elephants running towards the group. Fortunately, the elephants stop chasing the group after they get far enough away. In a Tanzanian safari, a seemingly average lion spotting quickly turned into a nightmare for some tourists when their car got surrounded by a whole group of male lions. Initially, they parked their car on the side of the road after spotting the predators lurking around the tall grass up ahead. Unfortunately, the tension quickly rises when they realize that the lions are now walking right in their direction.
Using the car as a shield to get a shot. Let's go, let's go. Let's go.
Understandably, a few of the tourists begin to seriously panic as the three huge male lions begin walking around just a few feet from their truck.
Let's go. Please. Let's go, let's go. Please, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. I'm not happy with this.
For safety purposes, the tour guide, thankfully, decides to drive away from the predators in order to continue their observation from a safer distance. At Kruger National Park, these tourists had their seemingly average safari trip take a truly horrifying turn when a white lion suddenly decided to leap into their bus.
Alright, what are we doing?
Relax. All of you relax. Relax. All of you relax.
Now full of panic, the tourists are immediately told to relax and attempt to slowly make their way out of the vehicle.
Do not jump out, climb out. Climb out. Do not jump out. Relax. Come down. Relax.
They continue recording as the tour guides attempt to help out the remaining tourists, still unfortunately stuck inside with the lion.
Look at him, look at him.
Man, can you stand up? Stand up. Stand up, man. Stand up. Come on.
They eventually manage to get everyone out of the bus safely and simply stop recording altogether. Kruger National Park, South Africa. An average safari drive quickly turned into a terrifying experience when these tourists encountered some territorial elephants. This nerve-wracking clip opens up with a group of tourists driving around in a game viewing vehicle in search of the huge animals. After hearing one of the mammal's trumpets in the distance, the driver quickly begins to reverse, all while following the sound. Upon reaching the spot, the explorers spot an elephant in the distance. However, another elephant suddenly emerges from the nearby bushes and steals the show by doing this. Thankfully, the well-trained safari guide is able to avert the impending danger in the nick of time, and the animal wanders back into the bushes. At the beginning of this terrifying video, lions can be seen swarming a blue sedan during a trip to South Africa. Unsurprisingly, most of the lions seen in the video are female, since they are the primary hunters of the pride.
When they drive away, they're gonna get it.
As the lionesses investigate the vehicle, another lion approaches the area, which makes the driver do this.
Oh.
Why did he drive forward? They pulled the hubcap off.
They've got the hubcap.
Oh they got the hubcap off. Don't run over his paw.
Despite being startled, the predators continue to swarm the car, biting and scratching its surface continuously. The driver finally decides to press on the gas, despite the threat of angering or activating the pride's prey drive.
Why would you drive away from this?
Oh my god, they're all coming.
They're not coming after this car. They
Lock
don't
the
even know
doors.
this one's moving.
Yeah.
Eric, hold on.
Eric, come on.
They're attacking their car. We gotta
We gotta get this on video.
Although once the car gains enough speed, succeed, the animals wisely leave it alone. The video begins by showing a group of tourists on a trip to South Africa taking pictures of a male lion minding its own business. At first, the animal doesn't seem to mind the tourists taking pictures and videos of it as it scouts the area. But as a territorial and protective animal, it decides to do what it does best and scare the soul out of the tourists.
When they're full, the stomach stand like this.
The animal does stop halfway, which is extremely lucky for the tourists. In northern Botswana, a safari tour went south after a tourist encountered a terrifying leopard that did the unexpected. This petrifying encounter starts with a man recording a leopard walking closer and closer to the truck where he and his tour guide are sitting. With the predator right beside his door, the man becomes rigid as he realizes the amount of danger he is in, when suddenly the animal decides to do this.
Ow. That kind of hurt.
Despite the animal scratching his leg, the man remains calm and collected, refusing to make any sudden moves that could escalate the situation and make things worse.
Watch my shoe. He's got my shoe.
Thankfully, the tour guide decides to turn the Jeep on, scaring the leopard away. While walking around in Zimbabwe, a group of innocent tourists came across a very territorial female lion who didn't seem so happy about having visitors. After spotting the animal staring at them up ahead, the armed tour guide quickly orders the group to slowly back up. Unfortunately, the predator only seems to get angrier by the second. Now seriously worried about their safety, the tourists continue to walk backwards.
Uh-oh. Stand or walk?
Right.
Turn off the cameras now.
Sadly, they stop recording, and what happens next remains unknown. In a South African safari, this woman's seemingly normal evening drive quickly turned into a nightmare when she came way too close to a hungry group of lions. At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary as she parks her car in order to observe the predators walking down from the road up ahead.
Look at them all just coming down. Apparently they've been looking at impala for the last little while, so they're hungry. They're definitely in sort of alert hunting mode. They're coming right past the vehicle. This is incredible.
Contrary to what most would do, she decides to remain completely still as the group of lions now begin walking right past her.
So I'm just gonna sit really still and stationary. I'm gonna keep talking. There's nothing quite like lions walking past you, that's for sure.
For many more tense minutes, she and her cameraman avoid any sudden movement, all while many more predators continue to walk past them.
Hello, good evening. It's lovely to see you have blood on your face. Yes, you do. What did you kill? They've all got blood on them.
Feeling like she's had enough, she finally decides to start up her engine and drive away from the area while she still can. Kruger National Park, South Africa, a brave safari guide was forced to face off against a vicious elephant to save the lives of his tourists. This intense clip starts out with an elephant charging right towards an armed man and his group. Rather than shrink away in fear, the brave man raised up his hand and miraculously stopped the elephant in its tracks. In the moments that follow, the two engage in an intense stare-down, with neither of them agreeing to back down. In the end, the elephant gives in and walks away, leaving the guide and his group to continue their adventure. On a ride in Kruger National Park, a brave man on a search for lion footprints came across something truly shocking. After driving around for a little bit, he finally manages to spot what appears to be freshly made footprints in the dirt and tries to show them off to the camera.
Yes! This is very cool. So 1, 2 lioness. I mean, it's possible they've moved and they've gone completely different side of the property.
He gets back to driving around and eventually reaches another area where lion tracks seem to be on the ground. Not expecting much to happen, he gets out of his car once again and begins looking around the dirt when the unimaginable happened.
Sorry, I'm gone behind the car. It's very rude of me. I want to follow the track with the word. Okay, so everybody, we've just bumped into Pride of Lion.
Fearing for his safety, he quickly starts up his car and begins driving away completely. What was supposed to be a fun trip to Kruger National Park, South Africa, turned for the worse after a group of tourists were the victims of a horrible elephant attack. This bone-chilling clip shows a blue car leading a convoy attempting to drive past an enormous elephant that is blocking the road, preventing them from moving forward.
Ik neem een video, ik neem nog heel tijd video.
Suddenly, the group starts to panic due to the danger of the situation and tries reversing away, but they unfortunately catch sight of the horrors happening ahead. Unfortunately, the clip ends abruptly, and what happens next remains a mystery. Kruger National Park, a group of tourists on an exciting safari drive, unfortunately had a few hungry lions come and ruin the fun. Initially, everyone on the tour bus seems to be peacefully observing the animals up ahead when they suddenly notice a group of lions to their left.
I've never seen such a thing. And they're getting closer and closer. Look how focused they are.
As time goes on, the predators appear to be tensing up and adopting a more hostile position, which unfortunately triggers one of the buffaloes to get defensive. Unfortunately for the lions, the rest of the herd also decides to get involved and join the fight. Eventually, the predators manage to get left alone and proceed to walk away from there in one piece. Kruger National Park, a group of tourists paid the price for venturing a little too close to a herd of elephants. The clip starts out with a herd of elephants emerging from the bushes and walking out onto the road. But when some onlookers get a little too comfortable, things take a horrifying turn. Luckily for the tourists, no one is harmed, and the elephants simply head deeper into the parklands. A mesmerizing yet unnerving experience greeted a group of tourists after they got a close meeting with a large leopard on a safari. This adrenaline-inducing clip shows a few tourists following a leopard while it's walking around, most likely hunting for prey. The predator can repeatedly be seen approaching and going past the tourists' ride, leaving the tourists both amazed and yet terrified at the same time. The encounter ends with the leopard finally disappearing into the bush away from the tourists.
In Serengeti National Park, Tanzania, a group of tourists came dangerously close to being attacked by an overprotective male lion. This chilling clip picks up right as this man notices a lioness curled up beside the vehicle, and he suddenly gets the heart attack of his life. Moments later, a lion who has just noticed his female is missing comes out in search for her. Upon seeing her, he begins to eye the vehicle suspiciously. Before he has time to act, the driver revs the engine to life, startling both animals, and they instinctively head towards the other vehicle. After a few tense minutes, the tour guide of the other car starts seeing the male lion as too much of a threat, and he tries to scare it off as well. Thankfully, both predators retreat back towards the tall grass, and the tourists simply move on with their expedition.
On November 24th, 2021, wildlife enthusiast Ewan Wilson got up close and personal with a herd of giant elephants when he tried to retrieve a camera trapped in the bush. This heart-racing clip starts off with Ewan sitting on the Jeep's hood, while a herd of enormous elephants walks closer to him, making him freeze in fear. Unable to move from being terrified, he stays on the hood of the Jeep, sitting as still as possible to avoid shocking or irritating the herd in front of him. Eventually, his team, driving the Jeep, decides to slowly drive in reverse after seeing the elephants gradually lose interest in Ewan, walking away from him. Luckily, no one was harmed during this long encounter with a herd of elephants. A sunny day in Tanzania, these tourists felt rather excited after noticing a female lion approaching their car when things suddenly took a very unexpected turn.
Right next to us, Dad. Right. Oh,
don't run.
Don't move.
Oh, okay. I'm good.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
He's attacking your tire. Hey, he's attacking your tire. Oh, man.
As even more female lions begin to join the scene, the tourists attempt to save themselves by driving away when this happens.
What is down there?
They're like, oh.
He's blowing your tire.
He blew up our tire.
Blew the tire out, right?
Yep.
He took the tire out?
Yep, blew up our tire. There's like so many looking at our car. They think we're the enemy.
Oh my God.
Really not wanting any more trouble, they decide to leave those lions alone and drive away altogether. A group of tourists got the experience of a lifetime after they were greeted by an aggressive and angry elephant during a trip to Serengeti in northern Tanzania, Africa. This clip begins with a group of tourists riding a jeep, getting up close to a herd of enormous elephants, attempting to get to the other side of the road.
No, don't be scared. Stay right here. Awesome.
Unable to keep up with the herd, an enormous male bull does this after its path is blocked by the tourist, making it unable to catch up with its herd.
These two here still want a piece of each other.
The towering bull attempts to scare the tourists multiple times, but to no avail, making him angrier and more aggressive as he tries to charge again and again. In an attempt to calm the aggressive, raging animal, the tourists decide to drive far away from the spot as the huge animal keeps chasing them despite their efforts. Thankfully, it loses interest and stops chasing the tourists, leaving no one harmed.
Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
Lion shows tourists why you must stay inside your car. I want you guys to picture this. You have on the most safari outfit straight out of a movie. Picture the guys from the Jumanji movie, and you're somewhere in the dusty plains of Africa enjoying the sunset as you birdwatch or something else typically touristy. Then out of nowhere, the loudest growl you've ever heard, and you see the biggest cat you've ever seen charging at you at full speed, teeth glaring. No, this isn't a house cat, not even a leopard. I'm talking about the lion. I wish that image that I made you think of was a made-up story, but it's not. Don't believe me? Well then, Doubting Thomas, stick around and watch 10 times safaris went from fun and thrilling to scary and even deadly. Number 10. The North Will Always Remember. In 2015, Catherine Chappell, a former Game of Thrones editor, was clawed to her demise by a lion in South Africa. The lion attacked Chappell in a South African lion park. What's ironic is the fact that Chappell wasn't in Johannesburg just for the sights. The film editor was also on a volunteer assignment with the objective to protect wildlife all over the country. The incident took place while she and her team were being driven through a lion park. At some point during the trip, a lioness took hold of the graphic effects creator. According to witnesses, Chappell had her windows rolled down and were in the process of taking photographs of her surroundings, and it was then, supposedly, that the lion saw the chance and attacked. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Number 9, home or away, the Lions will play. If you're one to squirm and wince, then this definitely is not for you. I want you to imagine this level of betrayal. You open a sanctuary for your furry, not-so-little friends to keep them away from poachers and the meanness of the world in general. And how do they repay your generosity? By mauling you halfway to death. Well, I guess maybe they were playing rough with him, right? They are, after all, wild animals. The video was recorded by a tourist in a South African safari park. And in it, you can see a lion drag a man from a tour truck by his neck, tightly holding him in its jaws as if he were a rag doll. He makes his way with the man still in his jaws into a nearby bush, while one witness cries and another begs for a rifle to help him. The footage then ends with the sound of gunshots and screaming. It turns out the man was actually the park's owner, Michael Hodge. Apparently, Hodge moved to South Africa with his family because of his immense love for lions. Get this. Hodge had actually bottle-raised the lion who pounced on him and cared for it all his life. A whole decade. It really is the things that you love that kill you. Hodge thankfully made a speedy recovery, But the haunting question remains. If you can't trust a savage beast that you raised from infancy, can you really tame a wild cat? Number 8. Lions are not house cats. We've seen wild animals being kept as pets in movies, and there's a pretty good reason why we've only ever seen that realistically in movies. Some things only work in fantasy. Animals are not adrenaline toys, and they shouldn't be treated like so. Michael Prasek learned this in perhaps the most extreme way. The Czech man owned a 9-year-old big cat, as well as a lioness for breeding. Why would you need to breed lions? For what? To reenact Narnia in your backyard? Or a circus? This naturally drew concerns from local residents. It didn't take too long to figure out why this was a bad idea. Mr. Prasek's father discovered his body in the lion's cage and told local media it had apparently been locked from the inside. I feel bad for the animals because despite living in separate pens, they had to be shot dead. According to the police spokesperson, this was totally required for them to get to the man. Mr. Prasek, 33, bought the lions and kept them in homemade enclosures. Talk about the father of bad ideas. And kept them in his backyard. He'd even already been denied planning permission to build the enclosures, and was afterwards fined for illegal breeding. It's almost like the universe kept throwing signs about how bad of an idea this was, but nothing stands in the way of love, no. There was, however, no evidence of animal cruelty, and there was nowhere to take them if they were seized, so the lions could not be removed by force. Maybe the incident finally helped put an end to this long-term problem. Also, maybe just don't keep murderous beasts as pets next time? Number 7. British wildlife journalist and author Last Words. Delved from the Jaws of Death sounds like a pretty catchy title for an action movie or novel, but like most of the things from this list, it's not. Charles Starmer Smith is one lucky writer. He managed to somehow wrestle off a lion and escape mostly unscathed. Thank heavens the lion still had his milk teeth. Otherwise, this would have been a completely different story, probably his last. Adult lions have canines the size of one's thumb, so you can only imagine how badly that would have turned out. The first mistake was inviting this inexperienced and jumpy journalist into the literal lion's den. I suspect it was those two guys hunkering over him that made the lion feel threatened and react in the way he would if tussling his mates in the wild. No one likes being looked down upon. Has no one ever taught you that? You don't tickle a lion in the tummy and not expect to be tickled back. The first rule in the Jungle Book, if you want to tickle an animal's belly, try it at home with your tame house cat, not the king of the jungle. And it doesn't matter if he's still in a cage, he is still king. More often than not, you're likely to end up with 4 paws and a whole lot of sharp claws enveloped around you. Can't we all just agree that lions aren't pets, and although they are cute, nothing about them is worthy enough that they should be kept as pets, and that we should just leave them alone? Number 6. Philia the Chill. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't think I am, but from my understanding, wild lions are pretty hazardous, especially if you like your head on your shoulders. But after watching, I'm not so sure. In the clip, a very calm lion hops into a safari vehicle full of tourists. You can see my confusion. This happened in the course of a safari at the Taigan Safari Park in Vilnohursk in Crimea. A lion named Philia, beautiful name by the way, got on a vehicle full of people. Once on board, he went on to snuggle the tourists and even got comfier, giving them big lion licks. Oleg Zubkov, the park's owner, was driving when Philia came on board. He quickly got out of the car as Philia came and kept an eye on her contact with the tourists. Surprisingly, they all seemed calm and sincerely delighted at the lion climbing all over them. A couple were even able to take a selfie with Philia. Out of curiosity, why was no one consumed with fear or a crushing sense of their own feeble mortality? Am I being paranoid? Eventually, Philia leapt out of the car and the tourists went on with their safari unscathed. Apparently, the park is famous for letting its big cats wander freely without any barriers separating them from the visitors. And in another mind-blowing twist, interactions between the wildlife and humans are actually encouraged. There's even footage of these interactions on the park's YouTube channel. In case you're like me, you think that all this sounds unsafe and reckless, and you're absolutely correct. Recently, there was an incident of a lion at the park biting a visitor. Although, in their defense, the tourist is fine. But still, delightful as it is to see Philia snuggling with tourists, it's worth remembering that lions aren't innocent little kittens. Number 5. Dumbest tourist ever. A tourist in Tanzania was caught on video unwisely reaching out of a safari vehicle to tap a lion on the head. I don't see how anyone would think this is a good idea. In the video, the tourist's arm can be seen reaching out of a window from the vehicle to touch the back of the lion, resting next to the car. The big guy isn't seen straight away reacting to his touch, but moments later he's seen baring his fangs and growling at the tourist through the window. In obvious panic, the tourist then yells several times at his friend to shut the window. The video, appropriately titled Dumbest Tourist Ever, is perhaps the most accurate representation of not minding your business. The lion could have easily torn the arm off the person without even breaking a sweat. It would have pulled the tourist straight out of that window before they had time to react and finished him off immediately. It was an extremely stupid thing to do. But then again, humans have been known to make some questionable choices. Number 4. Please don't invite the lion in. A family was observing lions from what they thought was the safety of their car at a safari park in South Africa, and they learned that you should always keep your door locked. In the video, a seemingly inquisitive lioness opens a passenger door with her mouth, provoking shrieks in quick action. The passengers quickly manage to shut the door again and lock it. One of them can even be heard sighing and saying, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know they could do that. That makes 2 of us." Although this has been known to happen before in South Africa, this isn't something I want happening twice to me. My doors are remaining bolted shut, thank you very much. Number 3. A picture at whatever cost. Photographers are a creative bunch. There's no denying that. But what lengths would they go to get the perfect shot? Well, for nature photographer Graham Springer, the answer is any. The problem comes when you don't realize just how much at risk you put yourself in till the potential danger strikes. Graham came face to face with his subject, a 300-pound lioness, and surprisingly kept his cool. This is a level of professionalism we can only aspire to. He stood still while the lioness sniffed around before walking away. One sudden move and things would have been looking real bloody for Graham. At the end of this ordeal, he even lets out a laugh. Of course, only when the lioness is out of range. He's way more courageous than I'll ever be, and to be honest, I'm okay with that. And with that, it's now time for today's best pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and want to know more stuff about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in a future video. Number 2, I wish you would. This picture was taken on the S1 near Skukuza in the Kruger National Park in South Africa. Luckily, we were able to get a full video clip on it. Despite Sandpark having clear rules on how tourists should behave while in their cars, the video shows tourists hanging out of their car while taking pictures of a lion, just casually chilling by the road and doing what big cats do on their days off. Understandably, they're cramping his style, and he chooses to let them know. He barks at them, basically telling him that if he decided to attack, there wouldn't have been enough time to save themselves. Number 1. Freaky Circus. This may not be within a jungle safari, but it's worth a notable mention since it's one of the most insane footages we have ever seen. Growing up, when the circus arrives into town, everything else would stop. The fun, the activities, the atmosphere. There's no denying that in that respect, circuses are completely stunning. A circus in Alexandria, Egypt came to a halt when one of the animal trainers were attacked by the circus's lions during a live show and passed away. It's a terrifying thing to imagine, let alone see, especially in a packed audience with children watching. In the video, Islam Shaheen is seen training 2 lions, but at some point, a 3rd lion comes into play and starts attacking Islam. The music in the background then ends up cutting, and all that can be heard are the blood-curdling screams as the attack is taking place. At this point, it's needless to say that lions should just be left alone in the wild so they can do wild things and avoid any form of human contact.